Hello and welcome to episode 236 of First Geek 411. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and with me, as always, from West Coast, Best Coast, Emma. How are you doing?
Hi, doing good. Happy to be here.
And special guest joining us from the wilderness of Montana, finally tamed that bear, my best man, Chris Nicolay. How you doing?
Well, we'll see if it's tamed or not, but
That's the
it's good
trick.
to
They're
be
never
back.
tamed. Yeah, I was looking at YouTube, and I think the Biren and Luthien book club was the last time you were on. So it's been a while.
Yeah, and I'm probably only back for the summer, but we'll see.
Wah.
Yeah, we'll make the most out of the time. This
Yep.
week, we got The Last of Us, Apple Vision Pro, One Piece, and Avatar The Last Airbender. Before we get into that, as always, you can find us on our social media as OneGeek411. Join our Discord server if you want to chat between shows. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can watch live on Twitch Monday nights at 6:45 Mountain Time and find the videos over on our YouTube. Lastly, of course, you can check out that Redbubble store for that merch. Let's get into it. Chris, what have you been up to? Again, been so long.
You want just this last week, or
Let's
you want
do
all of it?
Let's do this last week, and then we'll circle back to some highlights for post show
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
So this last week hasn't been much, but Friday night I did a Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings pre-release. Did surprisingly well despite not getting any good pulls.
I was
I
talking to
guess-
people about that. I feel like I have one pre-release with one rare in my deck, and then lost pre-release with 6. Like,
Dang.
sometimes you
Yeah,
just get
like
got.
I had like no supporter, or kind of. I mean, like I made it work. Shadowfax is a beast for sealed. Not
Yep.
gonna lie. Um,
Also teaches you the meaning of haste.
yes. And yeah, so I did that, and then I spent the weekend town over in Missoula, Montana, at Pride. It was great.
Nice.
Went to Pride. Didn't quite do the other shows we wanted to do because they filled up quick in small venues, but yeah, it was a fun, interesting night. Ran into a lot of random people there, so it was great.
Emma, what about you?
Well, let's see. I went to a friend's birthday party this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet new people and hang out with old people. And I baked her some bread in her oven. I used her oven to
Nice.
bake her the bread that I had pre-made. And
Was it
because
sourdough?
it was.
So you just
Yeah.
made dough and then you brought it to someone's
Well,
house to
it's
bake it?
sourdough. So it was rising overnight, and then I didn't have time to bake it beforehand, like before I left. So I just brought the dough and was like, I'm gonna borrow your oven and stick this loaf of bread in it. Um, so I did that, and that was a lot of fun. I've been doing a lot of editing, video editing, been working on stuff for a friend, and excited to be making progress on that. But it's also video editing, which is tedious at times.
I feel like
Um,
you should just show up to parties now with dough.
yeah.
And be
You
like,
could be that
It's a-
person. Everyone's got to
Yeah.
have a thing.
I mean, technically, I am that
it's like, yeah,
person
you
at
could
this
bring
point.
you could bring the fresh baked bread, or you can just straight up bring the dough and be like, we're baking it now.
I'm using your oven.
It's like, where is the oven? Point me
Let
in the
me
direction,
use
and
it. I
we
have
will
the
have fresh
dough,
bread from here.
and it's gonna be warm. You haven't had anything until you've had warm bread.
It's actually better than showing up with fresh baked bread, honestly.
It is. Show up with the dough and bake it there. Guess
Unless
what,
they took the door
guys?
off their oven the day before Thanksgiving and then it broke and they couldn't put it back on and they potentially jeopardized all of Thanksgiving.
This sounds like it's coming from personal experience, Cameron.
It happened to someone I knew in Connecticut. It's not my story, but they made the
know?
mistake of taking apart the oven the day before Thanksgiving.
Right before.
Were they trying to clean it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
they're
makes
trying to
sense.
clean it and then they couldn't get the door back on.
The struggles.
Mistakes were
The
made.
struggles of
What you do is you just
deconstructing.
forget the door, you turn it on, you just
Heat the
foil
entire
it. You just
house.
foil it. You
Yeah.
just put a ton of foil up as a door.
It's good
And
enough.
you
This
leave
is this is
everything
the
in there
oven
until
door
it's
now.
done, and then you just cut it out.
This is the oven door now. Been playing Tears of the Kingdom. That's been a lot of fun.
Woo.
And Jedi Survivor, also a lot of fun when I'm tired of hunting down weird little seed creatures or whatever. And then a friend of mine and I finished watching D20 Ravening War on Thursday, and it was a great ending, especially watching Matthew Mercer DM a different universe / different world and seeing how it all comes to a conclusion. And excited to jump back into some other stuff that I haven't seen. So yeah,
Nice.
that's been my week.
For me, speaking of things everyone else has said, I've also been playing Tears of the Kingdom. Also going around trying to take care of all of that. Finished my third temple. And so I have one more. So hopefully next time I stream, I'll knock out that fourth temple. And then played in the Magic the Gathering Cross Lord of the Rings pre-release. Managed to open 7 teamer rares and mythics. And so made the mistake of playing all of them. I played 6 of them. One was mediocre and probably shouldn't have been played. But I managed to
I don't think there's anything mediocre in the set, I'm not going to lie.
There is for sealed.
For sealed, for sure, but I'm just saying the set as a whole.
I did get the Doors of Doran. So when you attack, it lets you put a creature into play off the top of your deck. And I managed to put the Watcher in the Water into play. So we got Octopus Time coming in.
Nice.
I guess Squid Time, because it has 9, not 8. I don't know. What kind of animals are they? Does it have, the most important question is, does it have wings?
Time.
Are we going to get into the technicalities of this right
Cephalopod
now?
time. That's all.
Karen, are you openly inviting that conversation to happen?
Are you wishing that evil on us?
Because we could get technical.
We got an official topic for post-show chat.
Yeah. And so overall, it went well. It was a lot of fun. We did 4 rounds, and for every win, you got a draft and a set booster. So that was pretty cool. And
really? Yeah, we only got draft boosters for our wins.
Yeah.
But I think we did 4 rounds as well. I went 3-1.
Nice. Yeah.
It was rough. It's like, man, but it was a first pre-release back. Because like I haven't.
Oh.
All of it.
Always chaos. Not sure where I'm going to clip this, but bringing us back in. This week, I also finally caught up on Candela Obscura. I say caught up. It's been 1 episode.
There's only 1 episode.
Critical Role's new system / 3-part show all around. Very similar to, I think it's Powered by the Apocalypse or Blades in the Dark. And so it was a very cool system. I feel like it is basically like Critical Role the game, where it's like mostly RP. It's not like a ton of like action or minis. It's like a whole lot of theater of the mind. And it feels like such a great way for like their cast to shine, and for them to like actually get stuff done versus kind of getting like bogged down in combat. So we're going to see how the rest goes. It's new episodes end of every month for the next couple months. And so pretty excited about that. It's also nice to have a show that's like only going to be 3 episodes, self-contained. I still need to go watch Exandria, but here we are.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
I'm behind on everything, so.
That is okay.
Chris, while you've been gone, you'll be proud of me. I started watching an anime.
Which one?
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I'm like a third of the way
favorites.
through. I haven't watched it like this past week, but I thought of you and wanted you to be proud. So
I'm always proud. But yeah, it's a good one. I really like the characters in that one. They did a good job. Also gets a lot of crossovers in like mobile gaming world. There's so
Oh
many
yeah,
crossovers. Yeah.
because everyone just
Oh,
wants to
that's
be
something I
reincarnated
started
as a
doing.
slime.
Is I started playing another gotcha game.
Classic Chris.
What? It
Of
just
course.
launched, so you gotta jump in at the beginning, so it's easier to be free to play because you're not playing catch up.
Yeah.
I
You're
already
right
got
though.
all the S tier characters, so I'm good.
You got them all in your first bag or whatever because of your insane luck. Like, I'm not
Almost,
bitter.
kind of, yeah. Well, so it's also really like early on, so I was like just Googling what's the reset process? What am I trying to go for? And so like I started it, got through. They had so many codes, so they're just throwing resources at you anyway. So you get through the tutorial, use all your resources on summons, and I was like, oh, what am I supposed? Should I restart? And I'm like Googling, seeing, and then I'm like, oh, got Valentine. Okay, that's one important 3-star. I got Noah, one of the best 2-star characters, and then I'm like, oh, we're keeping this count. And then I sat there and used my resources to get the banner hero for that week, the start, and got her. So I'm like, okay, okay.
What game is this?
This is Outer Plane. It's from the same studio that did Epic 7. It's just a big kind of anime uh esque gotcha game, but it's like they don't have enough characters for it to be like a major gotcha game where they're just going to be raking in money because you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get certain characters. So I'm just like, yeah, I got everything I need.
Do you have a favorite waifu or husbando?
Rin is probably waifu right now, maybe Veronica. Just got Veronica. She's a water tank. I don't know. She's really good though. She does some work. Um, I don't know. Not yet.
You got
Maybe she
plenty of
will
time.
eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm also like because I'm playing this game just like I did Epic 7. Um, no guys in my party allowed.
Chris is making his own harem anime. So
Oh, waifus only. Yep.
so
Only the waifus.
let's jump into our discussion topics for this week. Emma, why don't you start us off?
Something I'm excited about because it's become a yearly tradition with some friends of mine that Cameron shared in the Discord earlier this week. But the Universal announced that one of their mazes at Halloween Horror Nights this year is going to be themed after The Last of Us. And I'm very excited about it. Two of my friends and I have gone together for the past few years and are going to go again this year. And I love The Last of Us, both the games and the show. And I'm so excited for this. And it's, you know, knowing the budget that Universal puts into these shows or mazes and stuff, like the the clickers and zombies alone are gonna be fabulous looking just in person. But it's from what I've read so far is gonna be like it's based more on the video game than the show, where it's like the storyline is a girl who's playing the game when there's a power outage, and then it's just going through like suddenly the clickers and stuff are coming out of the TV, and I'm excited to
What is
see
this,
where it goes.
Jumanji?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically,
Jumanji crossover.
yes. And I'm just excited. I will say that again and again. Um, to see what they do with this because I've literally sat and stared at the behind the scenes footage and videos of even just the show and gone, how cool would it be to work on like just the costumes for the zombies alone for The Last of Us. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. And yeah,
Yeah, like I said in the Discord, this could possibly get me to try a haunted house, but the problem would be I would not want to do anything else. Like, I'm not interested in any of the other IPs. I'm not interested in your scare zones. Just take me to the
directly
Last
to
of Us
that.
house and then take me out of the park. That's all I'm there
Yep.
for.
We're getting
Yep.
Cameron a blindfold
Yeah.
and some noise
Get,
canceling
yeah,
headphones
get me
to get
Ted
through the park
Moses
to where he
sensory
needs to
deprivator
be.
Guess what? We're
5000.
gonna make you an even bigger target for all of the
Yeah,
scare actors.
yeah. That's like the worst part because it's they very obviously go after people that look like they don't want to be scared, which is literally my persona. So, um, yeah, would not go
You
well.
in a nutshell.
But yeah, this looks super cool. I loved the trailer that they put out for this. I love that it's something that like as someone who's not interested but loves that people are happy about this. Like I love the hype that like Halloween Horror Nights is getting, and I love that like there's this trailer, there's all this promotion going around like for this. And obviously they could bring it back next year, but for this one part of the parks that's only going to be there for a couple months, like it's really
Yeah,
cool to
very
see them have
seasonal thing.
like a well put together for that. Yeah, for just something that's seasonal. I love it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm excited. I already messaged my two friends. I messaged Beta and Aaron, and we're like, and I was like, I am dragging you guys to this maze. I don't care how long the wait time is. We are going.
yeah,
Be prepared. So,
yeah. Last year I actually did a haunted house thing. I think I talked about this on this show. There was one at our local fair, or like town fair, and it was strangler things, similar but legally distinct from any Netflix IP, so the lawyers couldn't come after them. And it was really bad. Shout out to those kids trying their hardest, but like,
Local talent just couldn't cut it.
yeah, I was I was admittedly more worried about like bumping into things in the like fog machine. Like that was the like we can't see anything.
I
This is
do not want to
actually
stub my toe.
yeah, this is like
yeah.
actually dangerous, like that kind of thing. Um, but and then I think like there it was like, oh, they're gonna jump out and scare us, and then they didn't, and I'm like, oh, then what's the point of all this fog and me not being able to see anything?
Yeah.
But um, Chris, you got a couple things for us. What do you got?
Well, so Reddit is currently under fire because they announced new rules that kind of sprung on anyone. We kind of knew it was coming, but so Reddit has kind of always released their API openly. You can access it. Lots of third-party development as a result. But they're like, oh, at some point we need to start making money, especially since like with the rise of AI, a lot of large language learning models are taught off of Reddit. Um, and so they've been kind of
Rip those
subsidizing that.
language models.
Yep.
Yep.
It's been kind of subsidized by Reddit, and they're like, oh, well, we need to start making money. And they just announced that. So, like, now we're going to start charging any developers and things like that for access to the API for third parties. Uh, Developers, though, that kind of became a problem. They did the math. It's like 24 cents query, and like one popular uh, app, Apollo, did the math, and it's like one guy in Canada that runs this service, and he's like, oh, and based on last year's usage, it'd be $22 million this year, and you have to decide what you're doing in 30 days. So like they had no lead time, no negotiation or anything, and kind of just cracking down on their website and how it works. But so they're kind of under fire. So if you've noticed, there's been kind of there's some protest by users. So some of the subreddits and everything went dark for a few days. Um, and that is kind of hoping that they'll come back and negotiate better, at least with the small firms. It's like the 24 cents a query or whatever is definitely geared toward like Google, give us our money, stop using us to, you know, learn from. But yeah, notoriously not making money. Apparently Pinterest makes more money than Reddit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One thing I saw is that Reddit has never made a profit.
Nope,
So
never. But they're also not like a publicly traded company or anything like that. They've
Hmm.
always been this just kind of open source platform. but they do eventually they did file like a year and a half ago to potentially start an IPO, and they're kind of slow rolling that. So this is kind of potentially leading to that potentially going public. Um, we'll see. We're not sure exactly how far they're going to go, but they are pretty strict. And they're like, take it or leave it at this point. But a lot of smaller developers are hoping they'll come back to the table and renegotiate some things. But who knows? Um, but yeah, Reddit, the front page of the internet. Probably not going anywhere, but taking a bold stance right now. But it makes sense with all the AIs that have been trained off it, um, using their information. But who knows? Next thing, I'm sure you guys haven't had tech news while I've been gone, or as much.
What's tech news? I'm not familiar with this segment.
Dongle
Dongle
news.
What is
news.
it?
I forgot. My bad. It's been a while. Um, But Apple, at their most recent, spent most of their time talking about their new, which we saw coming. We kind of knew it was coming, and right before, as a result, I think there's some price drops on Meta's headsets on the Quest lines. But they did announce, granted, won't be here till next year, but they did announce the Vision Pro. And in typical Apple fashion, it is a expensive piece of hardware.
Yeah.
At $3,500.
Just a casual.
Sorry,
Pricey.
$34.99. Probably an extra
Well, yeah,
$1,000
that
if you
dollar
have
was what makes the
glasses.
difference.
Yep. Well, it's going to be another $1,000 if you wear glasses, I'm sure, so you can get the prescription lenses that fit into it. But it is like that is such an interesting price point if you're planning on like it's not a shared device, but it looks like a set of ski goggles or very reminiscent of our Ready Player One headsets.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie though, the capabilities of this device are good. Like I'm not surprised that they did it well, but I am a little surprised at what they're planning. Um, Granted, we'll know more. I'm assuming a lot of stuff actually that they plan on implementing probably isn't completely functional yet. Uh, but essentially, I think I know who, like, I feel like the idea behind this is like, oh, maybe replace your TV or, because you can watch 150 inch if you put the goggles on.
Yeah. And they talk about it as like you had like personal computing, then mobile computing. Now it's going to be AR computing as like the next major step forward.
Yeah. I mean, it has a lot of potential. The biggest problem I have is obviously this is going to be a very closed ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it's going to be for, especially at that price point, but likely it'll come down a bit. But I think this is just an example of if you throw all the best current hardware and compact it down as much as you can, this is what we can do right now, which is good. We also need a good competitor for Meta, or at least a company that can pull Meta along a little bit. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I think this is mostly for techie van lifers
Yeah.
who don't have a TV in their van. This is a great thing to buy. Now you have a 150-inch TV for you to watch alone in the wilderness.
While you're taming that bear.
Yep. Just
All of the
make
bears.
sure. Yep. Make sure you got access to power. Battery life is currently about 2 hours. It's also an example of kind of the different philosophies behind AR or VR in general between Meta and Apple currently, because Zuckerberg came out like following this presentation is like, well, it looked like everyone was alone in theirs, whereas Meta is very much obviously on that coming from their social platform, believing that VR is going to be the next social wave. wanting to connect people through VR, whereas this is like, use this alone. Get away from everyone. They'll come into view if they approach you. Um,
Yeah, I just
which
want there to
cracks
be
me
a
up.
heist movie about people breaking into a place where everybody's on Vision Pro, and it's all like, you know how like all the
You're
bank
just
heists, they always show the lasers. They're like showing
Yeah.
the range of where it picks them up, and they got to do some sort of dance routine to get around the range so that it doesn't pick up that somebody's approaching.
I'm waiting for the SNL sketch where it's like you break into a house and everyone's wearing these and you just steal
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
and they didn't even know because
Again, you just got to stay out of that range.
yep, you just got to stay out
Yep.
of their their thing, which would be great. Um,
And that also, admittedly, is a criticism of like VR as a whole, but like not necessarily
Fortunately,
like
this is a little more
specifically this,
AR.
but
I do like. I mean, I'm a little weirded out by the feature of show like it takes a picture of your eyes to put on the screen. So the person that approaches you now sees your eyes. So that front-facing screen is probably the most Apple decision
Yeah.
I can think of,
yeah, I mean, how else? I mean, that's probably an extra $1,000 for that front facing screen. So they got to drive that price up.
right? Um, but yeah, I- I'm looking forward to see what the future iterations. This is obviously just the starting point. Um, for Apple, it's first gen iPod situation. Um, I think there will be decent. They don't need heavy adoption for this as of yet, but yeah, it's an interesting stance. If they make a way, for like that price point becomes more reasonable if you have a way of interfacing with your consoles somehow. Because I'll gladly put one of these headsets on to play video games. Yeah, on 100, like just on a TV within the system, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen because it's Apple.
Yep.
It's Apple.
But be sure you'll have to buy dongles no matter what. So
All of the dongles.
If they do this right, maybe not. Because that their entire because they I mean we already talked about with iPhones potentially going full cableless or whatever, so maybe everything will interface wirelessly. Um, we did talk about there is like the social aspect where it's like even if you are in with your friends on your phone, all you had to do was, turn your phone towards your friend and they could see, look at this funny meme or check out this TikTok. And we know that like drop services for sharing content isn't always 100%. So we got to make some headways there.
mhm.
Yeah, still cool though. I mean, unless they are going to make the Ready Player One verse a reality. Maybe
I
without
mean,
all
if
the
anyone's
economic
gonna
issues.
do it, I feel like Apple would, honestly.
Not gonna lie, I completely agree because Apple already is like, oh, here's the high end version of our goggles. Here's the old version that you have access to, but you're a peasant. They already kind of created a culture of classism
Yep,
based on the device you're using. And they perceive
very
us
much so.
Android users as the bottom of the barrel because of green bubbles.
I take pride in my green bubble.
Same
As you should.
with the majority of the world with my green bubble. Maybe not in the US, but the world.
The rest of the planet.
Exactly. Um, what else did I have? Oh, and kind of saving this one for last because it'll transition into Cameron's new discussion topics here down the road. We did get the first trailer of the One Piece live action series by Netflix. Um, I'm interested. I'm gonna check it out. Is it gonna make me go watch all 1,000+ episodes of the anime?
Yeah.
No, probably not. It's too much. It's too much, and I've tried multiple times. Tried so many times. Uh, but from what I've seen in this trailer, it does look good. Like I'm definitely gonna watch the live action series. I think, and I'll probably be less critical of it because I haven't watched the anime, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be even better.
I'll say there's no
Um,
way it'll be worse than Bleach or
just gotta stay away from
the
the
other
online
one.
forums because so what they did? Did they do a live action Bleach?
I thought they did Bleach. Am I making that up? Let me Google.
They did One Note, or not
Oh,
One Note, Death
Death
Note.
Death Note, yeah.
And they did like there is a live action Bleach, but it's done by a Japanese like live action studio, you know. Um, most animes do already have like or like popular animes, most of them already do have live action adaptations, just not by huge studios like from
Yeah.
Netflix. Um, so they did Death Note and they did Cowboy Bebop.
hmm. Yeah,
And
Bleach was
now,
Warner Brothers Japan, and then it
yeah,
was distributed via Netflix. So
yeah, it wasn't too bad. That's probably one of that's probably the better. Well, that's right in the middle. I think Cowboy Bebop was fine. Was probably the best showing. Um, everyone got mad at Death Note, obviously, because of the setting and kind of whitewashing of the series.
Yep.
So they made some interesting casting decisions there. Um, this has a very diverse cast, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm kind of interested. Um, yeah, but like I don't know, like just the cinematography seems pretty decent from the trailer, from what I saw in the trailer.
and with that, we'll transition into what I got for us. And that is that we, via Netflix, have gotten our first look at actors in costumes for the live action series on Avatar The Last Airbender. Um, we got a look at, let me get their names, Gordon Cormier as Aang, um, Cointillo as Katara, um, Ian Osley as Sokka, and then Dallas Liu as Prince Zuko. And overall, I'm pretty hyped for this. I will say, admittedly, the costume design was the best part of the movie that shall not be named.
There's another movie.
Yeah.
What movie?
But overall, I like this a lot. I think the one meme that I've seen like really going around about this, specifically driven by Ian playing Sokka, is that he looks a lot like the Ember Islands player character.
Oh, with a little more of a like up
Yeah,
tilt nose and
Yep.
yeah, like, um, and so I have seen that going around as a meme, but I feel like that meme was gonna get made no matter what.
what?
Um,
Okay, so now what I want is then this is what I want is at a con where they are presenting the actor that played Sokka in the movie to come out and give him notes.
See, everything's going multiverse, right? Like,
Yep.
we can just have our
Multiverse is the
multiverse.
new
Like,
thing.
we have our
Uh,
Aang and our Ong. Like, they can face off against each other. And by
I'm
that, I
already
mean, of
burnt
course,
out on
ride their air
multiverse.
scooters
Yeah.
around. But it can happen. Just give it enough seasons, it'll get to multiverse.
But I'm right there. The costume design on this is great.
Yeah.
And then similar to what you said, it's a big plus that they're taking a lot of like inspiration from the actual inspirations of the setting versus what happened with M. Night Shyamalan's movie.
Where the
And
most ethnic thing he did, where the name changes.
yeah, um, yeah. So we'll see. Like this is also a very interesting project because this was started by the creators of the series, and then they mysteriously left the project. Eventually, we find out that was because Avatar Studios was being started. But this is like they've come out and kind of still in support. It's like, hey, we did hire this team to do this. Like, these are our people. And so,
well, what was so worrisome is when they initially left, they kind of cited creative differences.
Yeah.
Too, and you're just like, what does that mean? It's like, oh, what? And then so like then everyone started doubting what this series was going to be because they cited creative differences, and you're just like, if they're creating it with creative differences than the original creators, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And then it just turned out it's like, no, we had a
the creative
awesome
differences
opportunity.
is that our studio is moving in a different creative direction.
We were
it's
literally
like
able to create a studio of our own.
Yeah, we are starting this amazing, like this isn't going to be the last of Avatars.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a lot there. There's a lot that is going to need to. I feel like this show is definitely on its back foot just from the nature of all of that that's gone on, the precedents that have been before it. But hopefully,
well, and also obviously there's been that due to the writer's strike. There's a lot of people leaving, like canceling subscriptions and stuff. So it's just a lot of timing things on top of it. So depending on where we're at actual release, we'll see how well it does. Not that Netflix has the best track record anyway for beloved series. And canceling them, but
yeah, we'll see if we actually get to see Toph this time.
Yeah.
Or if we're gonna just never make it to that portion, but I don't know. We'll see. Listeners, of course, you can hit us up with your thoughts on all of our discussions over in the Discord or in the comment section over on YouTube. Announcements. End of the month, July 27th, we're kicking off Classic Geek Summer with The Princess Bride by William Goldman. And so go check that out and be reading. We have a good amount of time because our May book club got thrown off, and so we did that last week. But definitely come and join us end of July for that book. And then
I was thinking that was next week. Not gonna lie.
Okay, yeah.
Nope.
Already,
Nope.
I'm not gonna be ready. I don't got enough time for that.
Gotta go fast.
You've got more time than you think.
It'll be here before I even know it.
Yep.
It's gonna be a packed summer.
Yeah, it is.
Busy, busy, busy.
So, with that, as always, you can find us on our social media as OneGeek411. Check out that Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can also find us on Redbubble. You can watch live on Twitch Monday nights at 6:45 Mountain Time. Be part of the post-show chat, so we're going to find out what all Chris has been up to. And then you can find the videos over on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And then, if you would like to find us at our personal social media, you can do that as well. Mine is Humar Whittle.
Mine is I am not prepared with an eye.
And I am not so foreign.
And it's been a great week.
Had a dog.
I can't remember what I used to say.
I love you. Okay, Chris, what all